So a little while ago, I got to visit the Adidas archive, which isn't normally open to the public, and obviously I went straight ahead and looked at a lot of football boots. However, there was also something else that really drew me in. So what we have behind is one of the reasons I really wanted to come to the archive, because we have this big, beautiful case with all of the World Cup balls ever since 1970, where this ball, the Adidas Telstar, that was actually introduced in '68, was used in the World Cup. Basically, back then it was called Telstar because it looked different. It was more visible on television. Television star, cool. Really, really special ball, and you know, basically the iconic football look. That's what you have right here. Obviously, a lot then happened during the years. You know, the balls got a little bit more advanced and, you know, had less water uptake and all that stuff. But they basically looked not similar, but they looked similar-ish in the sense they were black and white all the way up until 1994 with the Questra. That was the last, like, purely black and white World Cup ball. Because then in 1996, for the Euros in England, we had a colored version of the Questra Europe, that had the England colors, white, navy, and red. So that was pretty cool. Obviously, that whole colorful trend then continued to the tricolor in France, 1998, that kind of introduced a slightly more modern feel to the ball. It was a little bit lighter. It felt a little bit more, you know, pingy to strike than the Questra, and had a little bit of that liveliness that we know from Adidas World Cup balls, and also just France colors, tricolor, really cool. Obviously, then that kind of moved on to the 2002 Fever Nova. Beautiful, you know, the gold colors, that whole little hexagonal pattern in there. Also, a lively football, felt a little bit more, you know, had a little bit more zing to it than the tricolor, but was in the same family, right? But absolutely stunning. And then what happened was that in 2004, again for the Euros actually, Adidas introduced the Rotero, which is the first thermal bonded ball, meaning that it's actually been glued and heated together to minimize the water uptake. And that also meant a slightly rounder football, meaning that it had some aerodynamical capabilities that meant that it was interesting to play with. And Adidas continued the whole concept of aerodynamics and really lively balls, obviously with the Team Geist that we know here. Yeah, I don't think I need to say much. This was actually used in the World Cup final. You can see it has the inscription that they started doing in 2006. And obviously that continued again then to the Jabulani and the final ball, the Jobulani, that was played in Johannesburg. Again, used in the World Cup final, very, very good. But they added the hole, they had the panels, they had that really, really lively bladder and also some texture that made the ball more aerodynamic with the airflow coming out, creating a vacuum behind the ball, making it just went, right? Now, then we come back to 2014, where we had this era of really lively World Cup balls. 2014, it continued having some really interesting panels. It had a lot of texture on it, but it also went back to a slightly more, what we would probably know as a modern feel. It had a little bit more weight behind it and felt like it had the balance of stability and the liveliness that we expect from Adidas balls now. Telstar, if you're old enough, you'll probably remember that. It feels like it was yesterday it came out. I've been doing this for too long. But basically took the Brazuca concept and altered the panels, had bigger panel sizes to make it a little bit more stable, but felt by and large like a slightly refined Brazuca. And obviously we have I'm not gonna try and say the name of the regular World Cup ball, okay, I'll try it, the Al-Riahla or whatever, and then the final ball, the Al-Hilm, which is a little bit easier to say. Again, refining the whole panel shape, really big panel edges here to make it stable, and also working on the bladder again. But all of this just goes to show that over the span of this many years, it started with like the graphics, making it a little bit more visible to see on television, working with leather balls, then transitioning into having synthetic balls that didn't take up as much water. Then they worked on the aerodynamics, the bladder, making them faster, and then coming back to probably the more modern era that we know today. Stunning, stunning. And the case, I mean, Louis Vuitton, joke, come on.
However, Adidas will probably need to commission a new Louis Vuitton case when the new ball for the 2026 World Cup launches, as this, well, it's full. But I think they'll manage. But which of the World Cup balls so far has been your favorite? Let me know in the comment section right down below. Shop all the current Adidas footballs in the link to your right if you need one of those. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel on your way out. And with that, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.